What up? K-Rugs from Soberdogs.com. I'm going to talk today about rock bottom, what it means to hit rock bottom, and the new school of thought on rock bottom. J.K. Rowling said it best. Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I've been to 5 rehabs, 3 as a patient, 2 as an outside counselor, volunteer, whatever you want to call it. I have been to 9 different prisons in New York State. I've been to hundreds of AA, NA, and Al-Anon meetings. And I've been to countless seminars on recovery, addiction, opioid addiction. And I have yet to meet a recovering addict who has not hit rock bottom. Now, with that being said, what is rock bottom? Typically, rock bottom is the term used to describe the lowest point an addict or alcoholic hits during their substance use. Now, it's different for every individual. This is the main reason why I believe there's a lot of new rehabs out there and, psychologists saying people don't need to hit rock bottom to get clean and sober. Well, the reason they're saying that is, number one, they want your business, and if you don't believe certain people have not hit rock bottom, you won't push them to go to a certain rehab or psychologist, because obviously people spend thousands and thousands of dollars sending their children, loved ones to rehabs over and over and over, and unfortunately don't get any, results, quote, results. Well, that person isn't ready to get sober yet. They haven't hit their bottom. This bottom is the point where all the consequences and losses and hopelessness reaches a peak for that addict at that point in time. Now, the reason I say it like that is I could hit my rock bottom and get clean and sober, and then if I go back out using years later, I can hit a lower bottom, because now it is a new point in time and new consequences, new repercussions. Maybe I'm using different drugs, completely different. So it's at that point in time, and that's, very important. But this point when the addict or alcoholic is completely hopeless and they feel like they can't go any lower, where they are physically, mentally, emotionally, they'd never want to go back to, that's the catalyst for change. That's the bottom. This desire to never be back at that place is usually what propels them to get clean, to seek help. And, it might not happen within a minute, within an hour, within a day, within a week, but that feeling will stick with them. They will say, I do not want to be back here. There's a saying called, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. That would be the rock bottom. Now, another reason why a lot of, doctors and psychologists say, hitting rock bottom is a myth is because they can't pinpoint it. They can't say, boom, that's rock bottom. In, medical and scientific terms, they like to have an exact answer. Well, addiction and recovery is not an exact science. They say it's a brain disease. Well, we haven't even mapped 10% of the brain. So, they have an outer layer and they haven't even gotten inside to study. They barely know about the neurons and this and that. Rock bottom is different for everybody. So, yeah, of course, there's not going to be one set thing. Some people can go to jail for a week and that's their bottom. Other guys, I've met certain individuals specifically, he's on his 6th bid upstate prison. 6th bid. His least amount of time was 3 years. So he's done a 3-year one, he's done a 4-year one, he's done a 7-year one. This individual is going to be almost 70. And he keeps using and using and using. So clearly he has not hit his bottom or his point where he's ready to not use drugs anymore, not use alcohol, to seek help. Some examples of the different bottoms: physical bottom, mental bottom, emotional bottom, spiritual bottom, financial bottom, relationship bottom, family bottom. There's multiple different bottoms you can hit. Usually, most cases I've seen, it's going to be a combination. Most of the time when financial problems are going on, usually there's relationship problems, family problems also at the same time. Usually there's emotional problems there too, because if you're having major financial issues, you're probably going to be emotionally a little unstable. So, it's a combination of these. But, there doesn't have to be, this is the exact point you're going to hit, and then people, no, it's different for everybody. Now, in certain 12-step programs, people who have minimal consequences and get sober just after, minimum consequences or repercussions. Again, when I say minimum to society and to the outside world, but for that person, it's not minimum. But these people are called high bottom drunks. A certain individual, this woman drank every day. Every day she drank a lot. After work, she drank a lot. One day, her children caught her sneaking vodka. She was doing the same thing for almost 7 years. But one day, the kids happened to come home early. That she was unexpected. They came home with their father, and they caught her, taking shots of vodka in the afternoon. That was it. That was the change. That was the rock bottom for her. She didn't get fired. She didn't go to jail. She didn't get a DWI. Most people, that is not, a rock bottom as far as society standards. But for her, that was. She's been sober almost 28 years now. So, it's different for everybody. And that's what we call a high bottom drunk. This whole thought process on people don't need to hit bottom to get clean. Now, I'm all for, the opiate epidemic is killing people out there every day. I'm all for any new school of thought that may help. But with that being said, I don't think it's healthy to tell people, oh, they don't need to hit bottom and keep pushing them, because a lot of times when you push programs and rehabs and things on people that are completely not ready, they end up rebelling and going the opposite way. And that's when ODs can happen and deaths can happen. Very simple. And so, you got to be careful with that. But this whole idea of you don't need to hit rock bottom, I believe is coming from this whole, school of thought of, the helicopter bulldozer parenting. This idea that if we can just prevent these kids or these people, these addicts from, feeling pain or discomfort, then somehow they'll decide to get clean and sober. No, tears are not always bad. The best lessons I learned when I was using were the hardest ones. Now, I'm not saying that means we should intentionally cause anybody pain or suffering, but when you can continually try to enable somebody and prevent them from, facing their own repercussions, it is not helping, specifically with addicts and alcoholics. To keep bailing somebody out and saving them from themselves is only going to prolong the addiction. Period. I have not seen a case that has been anything other than that. Parents try to jump in, and I know how hard this is. Parents want to do everything they can to help their kids. No one wants to see their kids suffer. But to sit there and try to save them from any pain, any discomfort, is not going to help. It's going to prevent them from reaching their bottom. Nobody on this planet can get somebody else sober. I don't care who it is. I don't care what it is. They have to get sober and want to get sober for themselves. Period. Nobody can. I'm a firm believer in that. Some people may disagree. That's fine. But I'm a firm believer in that. A very good mentor of mine, sobriety mentor, told me, who am I to stand in the way of somebody hitting rock bottom? If I tried to rescue them every time they're going to fall on their face, they would never learn. I would be doing them a disservice by prolonging their addiction. I think that's very good advice. So those are just some things on rock bottom. I have a great article on what it means to hit rock bottom up on Soberdogs.com. Check it out. Hit that like, that subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate it. Share some of my content. I'm just trying to get the word out there about addiction. Hopefully help some people. Hopefully some people, family, friends, can see the side of addiction from the addict. I try to get that point of view and perspective out there. I know how hard this is, whether you're an addict yourself, whether you have friends or family an addict, or you just know somebody. So, just trying to keep the word out there, because 70,000 people a year are dying. Twice as many as car accidents. And this gets pushed on the back burner, opiate addiction does. So addiction in general. So we need to keep this at the forefront. All right? Thanks, everybody. Morgan? She's sleeping. Peace.